Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Tuesday, April 8th, and today we are talking about the inner temple. And the Apologetics Study Bible had a note that said the floor plan of Ezekiel's structure was the same as that of the Solomonic temple. A porch led into the inner sanctuary known as the Most Holy Place. 20 by 20 cubits in Hebrew. So we want to keep in mind that some of the things are the same as the Temple of Solomon, and the basic floor plan is the same. However, these exact measurements, and I've talked about this over and over as we've gone through chapter 40, and I'm going to remind you now, these measurements the criteria for these measurements have never been met. And in fact, the blueprint for the temple that they want to build in Israel, again, does not meet the blueprint that was given to Ezekiel. This is the millennial temple that Ezekiel is seeing when Christ comes and reigns for 1,000 years. So that brings us to verse 1. Then he brought me to the nave and measured the jambs. On each side, 6 cubits was the breadth of the jambs. Now in the ESV Fire Study Bible, it said this temple is different than Solomon's temple. Nothing is said about the altar of incense, the lamp, or the Ark of the Covenant. The reason for the difference is not explained. However, what I've found in my research is that the scholars believe that the reason that the incense is not there is because there's no reason for prayer because you're talking to God face to face. The reason that the lampstand is not there is because the light is coming from God himself. And the reason the Ark of the Covenant is not there is because God is physically right there in front of you. Verse 2, and the breadth of the entrance was 10 cubits, and the side walls of the entrance were 5 cubits on either side. And he measured the length of the nave 40 cubits, and its breadth 20 cubits. And he went into the inner room and measured the jambs of the entrance 2 cubits, and the entrance 6 cubits, and the side walls on either side of the entrance 7 cubits. And he measured the length of the room 20 cubits, and its breadth 20 cubits across the nave. And he said to me, this is the most holy place. Now, in the Cultural Study Bible, it said, Ezekiel describes here the auxiliary structures of the temple. There are a number of technical architectural expressions discussed in this section, many of which have uncertain meanings. Much of the description, however, is reminiscent of that found in 1 Kings 6, verses 5 through 8, concerning Solomon's temple. Again, there's some similarities, but these exact measurements, the criteria for these exact measurements has not been met to this date. Although Ezekiel sketches the auxiliary structures around the temple, he does not describe their function, nor does the author of 1 Kings. Similar single and multi-storied rooms from Egyptian religious centers imply that they were used as storehouses for temple treasures. Temples built by Merneptah and Ramses II had storage spaces 3 or 4 times larger than the temple itself. This was also common in Mesopotamia. So what this is talking about is it's talking about what could be a storage area. We're not really sure if it's a storage area, but the point is that there's some treasures there. There's some things that are going to be in those areas, and we have those exact measurements. God is very specific about it. We don't know why. Tomorrow we will find out more. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.